Program Muafakat Mathematics SM025. There are two sections in PSPM2 for the paper SM025. Section A is 25% with 3 questions. Questions B is 75% with 7 questions. So total have 10 questions. So we go to the part A, which is 25%. So we have 3 questions on part A. Questions 1 is the questions on chapter 8 probability with the total mark of 7. From the information given, so we know that these questions contains of 2 main events. One is event take regular exercise and the other one is the event it refers. Let's see how to solve these questions. We may construct a tree diagram as this. So for the first questions, we are going to find the probability of which it refers and take regular exercise. So we may easily get the answers from the branch A. So which is the probability B intersect with E. So we have the 2 over 3 times the 9 over 25. So we give you K1 and the final answer we give you J1, which is 6 over 25. For the questions B, we want to evaluate the probability does not always it refers and does not take regular exercise. So to do this, we need to evaluate the value of the probability of event E given B prime. So you will get the value of 12 over 25 and the probability of event E prime given B prime is 13 over 25. So we give you a K marks here, K1 marks for this. Then we choose the branches which have the probability of event B prime intersect with E prime. So you will get the answers of 13 over 75. So we give you J1 here. Total is 3. Part C, to determine whether the events eating, refers and taking regular exercise are statistical independence. So we have 2 alternative methods here. So for the first method, so you need to find the probability of PB multiplied with the PE. We notice that the probability of B intersect with E is not equal to the probability of event B multiplied with the probability of events E. So we can say that they are not statistical independent. This is the methods 1. Or you may also use the conditional probability, since the probability of E given B is not equal to the probability of event E. So we can say that B and E are not statistical independent. So both of these methods will give you 2 marks here. Questions number 2 is the question on the discrete random variables. So the part A, we need to evaluate or determine the value of K, and then we are going to find the expected value and calculate the probability of x greater than 1 and less than 4 and the expected value of the x2 minus x squared. So total marks for this question is 10. Part A, to evaluate or determine the value of K, so we use the total probability equal to 1. So we give you the K1 for the step and the answers for K is 1 over 3. So we give you the J1. Part B, expected value, we give K1 for the summations of the lambda variable which is corresponding probability, and the final answer 3 as J1. For B1, so we're going to evaluate the probability x greater than 1 and less than 3. So we have the probability of x equal to 2 plus the probability of x equal to 3. We give K1 and the answer is J1. For the questions 2B2, so we give a K1 for the evaluation of the EX square here, and then we proceed with the expected of the 2 minus x square First of all, we expand first the 2 minus x squared, and then we apply the property. So we have the 4 minus 4ex plus the ex squared. So we give you a k1 here, and then we substitute the corresponding values for ex and the ex squared. So we give you another k1, and final answer is j1. Questions number 3 is the questions of normal distributions with the mean hundreds and the standard deviations of 15ths. Part A, we are going to find the probability which have the IQ less than 91. And the part B, we are going to find the nearest integers, the value of k, which is at least 100 plus k is 0.7088. The total marks for this question is 8 marks. For the question 3a, so we are going to evaluate the probability of x less than 91. So the first mark we give for the marks for standardizations, and follow from the second marks we give for the marks for read standard normal tables for the value of pz greater than 0.6, and the j1 for the final answers. For the question 3b, we give b1 mark for the statement probability of x greater than k plus 100 equal to 0.7088 correctly. So after that we do the standardization, so we give you a marks of standardizations. Since the area is greater than 0.5, so we use the reflections concept, so we have to use 1 minus probability of z greater than minus k over 15. We rearrange and simplify, so until we get this, so we give it a k1 here, and then we read from the table. We have the z greater than 0.55 equivalent to 0.2912, so we make the comparison and we get the value of k equal to minus 8. So we give you the k1 for read the tables and the j for the final answers of k. So now we proceed to the part B questions. There is another 75%. For questions 1, this is the questions on Newton resistance methods. For the part A, so we have to show that the function f1 and f2 have an intersection point on the interval of 0.1 and 1. So this one you have to use the algebraic methods. For the part B, so we have to use the Newton lessons to estimate the intersection point with the initial value of 1. Give your answers correct to 3 decimal places. For parts A, we have to show that there is intersection point on the interval of 0.1 and 1. So before we proceed, so we have to rearrange and get the function fx as the 2 plus ln x, and then we proceed with the algebraic approach. Okay, since we notice that there is a change of sign, so one is negative 2.10 and one is 2, so we make the conclusions that there is a point of intersections, so there is a j1 for the conclusions. Part B, we are going to use the Newton resistance methods to estimate the intersection point. So first of all, we give a b1 for the correct derivative functions of fx, and then we proceed by using the first initial value of 1, and we give you the mark k1 j1 for the first calculations of the estimate value as this, and then we proceed. Since we have the stopping criteria and we notice that the S4 and the S5, the difference is less than 0.000, so we stop to calculation. So we give you a mark for the stopping criteria, and we proceed with the J1 for the correct answers of intersection point. And remember, you must leave the answer in 3 decimal places. Questions 2 is the questions on equations of circles which passing through 3 points, that is 1, 2, minus 1, 2, and 0, minus 1, and hence determines its centers. To form the equations of circle passes through 3 points, so we may use the concept of distance. We may say that the distance from the center to each 3 points are the same. So first of all, we form the first equations of the distance from the center to the point minus 1, 2 and 1, 2 to get the very first equation. So we give you the K1 and form the second equations from the distance from the center to the point 0, minus 1 and 1, 2. And he will give you the second marks. Okay, so we solve for these two equations, we get the value of h and k here. So we may use the value of hk to form the equation for radius. We give you another k and the answers for the center j1 and the answers for the equations of circle in the general form. So total is 5 marks. There is an alternative method for these questions. So we give the very first marks for any two equations correct based on the point of 1, 2, minus 1, 2 or 0, minus 1, and we give another k if we form the three equations correct, and we give k for solving for the value of f, g and c. And then we give the marks for the equations of circle in the general form, and another mark is the mark for the centers. So total is 5 marks.
Question 3. Find the equation in standard form of an ellipse which passes through the point -1, 6 and having foci at -5, 2 and 3, 2. Then we have to state the major vertices and the length of major and minor axes. And then from the result obtained in part A, we have to sketch the graph of the ellipse. Okay, let's look at the information given here. First, we have the two foci. So, from the two foci, we can find the center, where the center is the midpoint of the foci. So, when we find the midpoint, we have -1, 2. And then the ellipse passes through point -1, 6. The point -1, 6 is above the point -1, 2. So from this diagram, clearly we can see that y equal to 2 is the major axis and x equal to -1 is the minor axis. So let's look at the solution. First, we have to find the center. Remember, when we want to find the equation of ellipse, we have to have three information. The first one is the center, and then we have to have the value of A, and then the value of B. Okay, here the center is -1, 2. Finding the center, we have K1. And then from the diagram here, we can clearly see that the distance between the center and the foci, which is equal to C, is -1 minus -5, which is equal to 4. So for that, we have K1. And then, from here also, we can find the vertical distance between the center and the vertex. So that is the value of B. So here, B is equal to 6 minus 2, which is 4. So we have another K1. So once we have B, we have C, we can find A. Here from the diagram, you can see that the value of A is greater than the value of B. So the relationship between A, B, and C is C squared equal to A squared minus B squared. And substitute the value of B and C, we have A squared equal to 32. For that, we have K1. And for the value of A, B, and C, we have J1. Okay, once we have the value of A squared, B squared, and the center, we can substitute into the standard equation. So that is K1, J1. And then we have to find the major vertices, the length of major axis and minor. Major vertices, J1. Length of major axis, we get J1. And for the length of minor axis, we get J1. So question B, the sketch of the graph. The first R1 is allocated for the shape of the ellipse. It must be horizontal ellipse. And then the second R1 is the correct location. So the center must be at -1, 2. with x-axis and y-axis. And the last one is for all the label, x-axis, y-axis, and the major vertices. So that is the solution for question 3. Question 4. Given a line and two planes, that is pi sub 1 and pi sub 2. So you have to find the point of intersection between line L and the plane pi sub 1, the acute angle between L and the plane pi sub 1, and the equation of plane which is perpendicular to the plane pi sub 1 and pi sub 2. So let's look at the solution. So to find the point of intersection between a line and a plane, the equation of the line must be in parametric form. So what we are going to do here is substitute x, y, and z of the equation of the line into the equation of plane to get t. So for this process, we get k1. And then substitute the value of t into the parametric equation x, y, and z, and then put it in the coordinate form. So k1, j1 for that process. Okay, question B, we want to find the angle between the line and the plane, that is theta. So from the equation of line, we have v, that is a vector parallel to the line. And from the equation of plane, we have n, that is a vector perpendicular to the plane. So from the two vectors, we can get an angle. Let's say we name it here as alpha. So that means to get theta, we have to subtract alpha with 90 or alpha minus 90. Depends on the value of alpha, whether it is an acute angle or obtuse angle. So let's find alpha. To find alpha, we have to get the magnitude of v, the magnitude of n, and the dot product of v and n. So for that, we get k1. And then substitute into the formula of angle between two vectors. So alpha is cos v dot n over magnitude v magnitude n. So that is k1. So here, alpha is an obtuse angle. So to get theta, alpha minus 90. So that is k1, and the answer 46.10 is j1. Okay, to get the equation perpendicular to both pi sub 1 and pi sub 2, we have to find the cross product between the vector perpendicular to pi sub 1 and pi sub 2, that is n sub 1 and n sub 2. So for this one, we get k1 and do the process of finding the cross product, that is k1, and the answer is j1. By using the vector equation of a plane, that is r dot n equal to a dot n, so we have k1, and then do the dot product, we get negative 8x plus 19y plus 5x on the left side, and on the right side we have negative 305. So that is k1, j1. Question 5. The cumulative distribution function of a random variable y is given by f of y. So we have to find the value of a and b, the value of c such that the probability of y greater than c is equal to 0.88, the median and the 70th percentile, the probability density function of y. So the word here, probability density function. Probability density function is used for continuous random variable. So in this question, it does not mention whether it is continuous or discrete. So the clue here to know whether it is discrete or continuous is by question D. The probability density function, it means it is a continuous random variable. And then for the last question, we have to find the expectation of y, variance of y, and variance of 2y minus 3. So let's look at the equation. To find the value of a and b, we have to substitute the endpoint of the interval into the function f of y. So here, first we are going to find f of 2. So f of 2 from the first interval here, f of 2 is equal to 0. F of 2 also can be found by using the second function here, that is ay squared plus by. So we substitute 2 into y, so we get 4a plus 2b. So that means 4a plus 2b is also equal to 0. So that is our first equation. Okay, another point that we are going to find the value is at y equal to 4. So from the third interval here, so we can see that f of 4 is equal to 1. So f of 4 also can be found by using the second function here, ay squared plus by substitute y equal to 4 into the equation. So we have 16a plus 4b equal to 1. Or 4a plus b equal to 1 over 4. So that is our second equation. So for these two equations, we get k1. Okay, and then we solve the two equations. We get another k1, and we get the answer. A is equal to 1 over 8, b equal to negative 1 over 4. That is j1. Okay, for question B, we are going to find C, given a probability of y greater than c equal to 0.88. We have cumulative distribution function, so we need to change the sign from greater to less than. Okay, we know that probability of y greater than c is equal to 1 minus probability of y less than or equal to c. And this is equal to f of c. So, rearrange the equation. We have f of c equal to 0.12. Then, substitute into the function. We have 1 over 8 c squared minus 1 over 4 c equal to 0.12. Find the value of c. There are two values. Okay, since c is between 2 and 4, so we choose c equal to 12 over 5. So the marks here are K1, K1, J1. For question C, median. Median occurs when f of m equal to 0.5. So substitute into the function 1 over 8m squared minus 1 over m equal to 0.5. So find the value of m. Since m between 2 and 4, so we have m equal to 3.326. So K1, J1. For the 17th percentile, the probability of less than or equal to x less than or equal to percentile 17 is 0.7. So substitute into the formula, that is K1, and then choose the correct answer, that is between 2 and 4. So P70 or the 70th percentile is 3.569. So for question D, we are going to find the probability density function. So for continuous distribution function, when we want to change from CDF to PDF, we have to do the differentiation. So differentiate the function. We have 1 over 4 times 1 y minus 1. Write down in function form. So we have 1 over 4 y minus 1 from 2 to 4 and 0 otherwise, because when we integrate 1 with respect to x, we get 0. So that is J1. Okay, for question E, we want to find the expectation. So expectation of y is the integration of y multiplied by f of y. with respect to y. So before we integrate, we need to expand the function. So we have and we know that 1/4 is the coefficient. We can bring it out from the integration. So 1/4 inside the integrand, in the integral we have y squared minus y. So integrate and substitute the value, we get expectation of y equal to 19/6. So K1 for the formula. And then K1 for integration and substituting the value, J1 for the answer. To find the variance, we need to find expectation of y squared. Okay, expectation of y squared is the integration of y squared multiplied by fy. So here what you do is you take the formula in the expectation of y, multiply it by y. So you get here y cubed minus y squared. Integrate and find the value. So that is K1. Substitute into the formula of variance. So that is K1 G1. And then lastly, we want to find variance of 2y minus 3. So by using the properties we have, it is equal to 2 squared times variance y. So the answer is 11/9. So that is K1 G1. Okay, question 6. The probability of getting a rotten pair in a value mat is 0.10. By using a normal distribution as an approximation, find the probability that out of 500 pairs in the market, at least 65 pairs are rotten. B, at most 50 are rotten. So here we have to do the approximation from binomial to normal. So let x be the number of rotten pairs. So initially x is a binomial distribution with n 500 and p 0.1. Because we want to do the approximation, we need to find the mean and variance. So mean and variance for the binomial distribution is 50 and 45. And we are going to use normal approximation with mean 50, variance 45. So this is B1. Okay, and then answering the question. So at least 65 pairs are rotten. So remember here we are changing from the discrete distribution to continuous distribution. So we need to do continuity correction. And we are when we use normal distribution, we need to find the standard score. So this is the process of continuity correction. So the continuity correction is 64.5, and then finding the standard score, minus mu divided by standard deviation. So standard deviation here is square root of 45. So for that we have K1. Okay, then look at the table. So the answer is 0.0154. So that is J1. For the second one, we want to find probability of x less than or equal to 50. Do the continuity correction and find the standard score. So that is K1. And then we get z less than 0.07. So to use the table, we need to change it to greater. So probability of z less than 0.07 is equal to 1 minus probability of z greater than 0.07. Look at the table, that is K1. Look at the table and read the values. So the answer is 0.5279. Okay, for the last question, question A, a botanist is studying distribution of roses in a field. His field is divided into a number of equal sized squares.
The mean number of roses per square is assumed to be 3. So here we have mean 3 per square. So this is a Poisson distribution. So we want to find here the probability that in a randomly chosen square there will be exactly 5 roses and less than 10 roses. So that is for question A, Poisson distribution. Okay, for question B, given the sum of x and the sum of x squared, you have to find the mean and variance. So this is statistic with sum of x equal to 295, sum of x squared, and we have here n equal to 80. And then for question 2 here, explain how the answer from part 1 support the choice of a Poisson distribution as a model. And use the mean from part 1 to estimate probability that at most 4 roses will be found in a randomly selected square. So let's look at the solution. So for question A, let x be the number of roses per square. So it is a Poisson distribution with lambda 3. So for the first question, we want to find probability of x equal to 5. So we use the formula exponent negative 3 to the power 5 over 5 factorial, and we get the answer. So this is K1, G1. For the second question, we want to find probability of x less than 10. So here we are going to use the table of distribution. So we have to change it into 1 minus probability of x greater or equal to 10. Remember, when using a discrete random variable, when using the table of discrete random variable, we need to have the equal sign for the probability. So here we can straight away look at the table. So the answer is 0.9989. So that is J1. Okay, for question B, we want to find the mean. Mean is the sum of x divided by n. So we have to write the answer correct to 1 decimal places. So the answer is 3.7. So for the variance, use the formula of variance. The sum of x squared minus the sum of x squared divided by n over n minus 1. And the answer must be correct to 1 decimal places, also 3.7. So this is Q1, G1. For question 2, why this is a Poisson distribution? Because the mean and variance are equal. For Poisson, we know that the mean and variance is lambda. So therefore, Poisson distribution is a suitable model. So this is B1. And the last one, we want to find the probability. So it is a Poisson distribution with lambda 3.7. So we want to find probability of x less than or equal to 4. Use the table. So change it into 1 minus probability of x greater than 4. Because greater than 4, we cannot use the table. We need to change it into greater or equal to 5. So this is K1. And then read the table. K1, Q1. Read the table of Poisson. You get the answer. That is J1. So that's all for the solution of the question in set 2. Good luck for your examination.